one, yeah, you want to do some aptitude testing and things like that. Obviously, make sure that they can handle the responsibilities that are going to be assigned. But I think the key is do they fit, once again, the model, the vision, the culture of what you're trying to create. So if your vision is to bring freedom and to help people and to have a culture of family, then you need somebody that fits that. Because if you have somebody that doesn't fit that culture, no matter how capable they are, they're always going to be kind of the odd man or woman out, no matter what.
You have to have a really good hiring process and system. So it starts with as soon as you get those resumes and where you put that platform and how you seek candidates. And once you get those resumes, going through, what we do is an initial interview, a group interview to see how they culturally fit, as well as a manager interview, and then a final CEO interview. And that can be kind of burdensome. You know, it's a lot of steps and a lot of investment on our part, but it helps prevent things later, you know, having a bad hire.
We have an interview process that is pretty rigorous, but it starts with running the job posting and going through the resumes and trying to find somebody that's has a good skills fit to the position. But that's not really the main concern. And the main concern when we hire is that they are a cultural fit. So in the first round of the interview is with me, and I get to meet them. And I ask several questions that are not related to their job experience or their skills. And people are quite surprised by that first round because they're expecting to come in and get drilled on their job experience and their skills and their qualifications. But my goal in that first interview is to get to know the person, to try to get to know the person.
You do a skills test, you do the psychology, you do an interview with Karen, which was totally... Karen and Hunter were like, so we looked you up on the internet, we saw all your YouTube videos, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm kind of crass on the internet and I have purple hair, you know what I mean? But they're like, no, we love it, it's cool, you have personality.
So one of the things that I do is I try to put the person at ease right away, and because I really want to sit down and have an hour and a half long conversation with who they are. I want them relaxed, so I try very hard to put them at ease, get them to relax, not be nervous, and then once they settle down, they start being themselves. And then I have a list of questions that I ask. Like as I mentioned, they're not related to their job skills or their qualifications. It's questions about how they view a job, their perspective about a job, how they've handled situations on past jobs, following that company's core values. Also how they feel about life in general, what makes them happy, what do they enjoy doing outside of work, those types of questions. So, and it gives us an opportunity to get to know them a little bit on a personal level, not on a job skill level. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, as they continue through the interview process, they're touched by probably 8 to 10 people throughout the entire process.
You go out to lunch, and it takes a good while, but I really appreciate that series of things because it makes sure that not only are you a good fit for the company, does HR think that you'll work with the team, and also let's get someone from every department to really make sure that there's not something wrong with this person and that we'll all kind of vibe with them.
There's a saying that hire for character, teach skills. So I think we here at ABIS very much follow along that lines.
I think that it really goes to the interview process. I think that ours is very extensive. I mean, there's 5 steps as opposed to just one interview and then a follow-up interview like most places have. So I think that we're pretty good at that, but it really boils down to how you choose who you're going to hire people. You know, you give them the lunch that we have, social lunch, to make sure that they're going to fit in with our culture, and you give them, case studies to make sure that they can do the work that's necessary, things like that.
The hiring process here is unlike anything that I've ever experienced before. It's lengthy, it's thorough, but I think that helps find good people. And so I think that's why we have such a great team here, is because you don't just let anybody in work for ABIS. And that's something that I remember. My interview process was a couple of weeks, and if somebody's not willing to invest that time to work for a company, then maybe they don't belong here.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, most companies hire from a managerial standpoint, it stops there. And, to most extent, most companies don't really care what everyone else thinks about who they're hiring. This is who they're hiring, and you can get on board. But here it's different.
And so, one of the things in our company has always been get the right people on the bus. And it's not just something we say, because when we interview, the person goes through a lot of different, not just rounds of interviewing, but it's the types of interviews that they're doing, and it's the fact that they're seeing different people in every single stage of the way. And the hope really is that by the end of the process, not only have we had the chance to really decide and determine this person is right for ABIS, but we want for that person to be able to determine ABIS is right for me. It's really important to me to ensure that the process allows the candidate to really get to know us, because I think it's unfair in an interview process to make it about us. It is about us, and at the end of the day, we're the ones hiring. But if we're going to devote everything to this person and we're expecting them to devote everything to us, I think it's important to spend enough time with them and show them enough of the company that they can make a lifelong commitment just like us. So I think the process being as thorough as it is, and not just thorough but unique, in a sense that the person has a chance to really see all the facets of the company, or a lot more than you normally would, and also get a real true glimpse of what it's like at ABIS. I think that's really the best way that you can ensure that you do hire the right people.